Today on DNVR Buffs Live, we begin our spring position previews, and we're not waiting. We're getting right into it. Quarterback, we dive into that and much, much more. Let's get it. Let's go.
Squad. Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by Front Range Toyota Stores. It's DNVR Buffs Live. And we are wasting no time. Spring position previews start today. We're getting into the quarterbacks. A lot of analytics have come out on 2025 college football teams. We'll talk about that. Tons of NFL draft buzz, including Shedeur Sanders deciding not to throw at this week's scouting combine, but let's get into it, boys.
Oh, all right. You weren't kidding when you said we're not wasting any time.
Well, did you want to hit your thing?
No. I mean, I have some time wasting things.
So do I.
They can wait.
Let's waste some time, no?
You want to waste time?
I kind of want to waste
Come on. We're gonna starve the listeners of this quarterback competition.
Let's let people file in. It takes a second to be able to get here.
All right,
people still coming in, back of the room, got to find their seat first. So check it out. Low key. So I was at Lakers Nuggets on Saturday.
I have.
Ooh, nice flex.
Keep going.
Nice flex.
Thanks. It was that was obviously my first Nuggets game. That was my first time in Ball Arena.
Great seats, it looks like, too, by the way.
They were pretty good seats. They were pretty good seats. It was a good time. But the reason I brought that up, because maybe the coolest thing that's happened to me since I've been one of the coolest, not the coolest, one of the coolest.
Oh, here we go.
In public. Walking up to my seat, you feel me, up at Ball Arena, walking past a bunch of people, somebody like sitting down their seat, like in the aisle seat, just kind of leans towards me and goes, "Squad."
No way.
What's the word? Go crazy. And there was a handful of people that recognized me and said that they appreciate what we got going on here, which was dope. So that was really cool. And obviously that was Cash Cleveland was in the building. Yep. Jordan Seaton was in the building. 2 Buffs. That was obviously dope as well. And yeah, obviously a hell of a game. And I hope we get a Lakers Nuggets playoff series here in the next couple of months. That'd be dope.
That's a great point that you bring up because a lot of times I'll get a DM from someone after I leave something and they're like, "I saw you. I just didn't know what to say."
Sure.
Just drop like an inside joke from the show. Ultimate icebreaker. Of course, you can just come on and say, "Hey, I love the show." But if you're like, "What do I say?" Just be like, Jake's crazy for sleeping in hoodies. And I'll look over like, "Oh, what up?" I do have beef with you though.
Why is that, bro?
Because you were in the house that Jokic built. You were in the presence of the greatest basketball player alive right now. And you posted two things.
Said what, Dion?
No, he was. I mean, he is still alive, but he's not as good anymore. And you posted 2 players on your Instagram story.
Yes.
LeBron and Luka. You didn't post the best player in the NBA that you were in the presence of. I mean, that actually pissed me off.
Y'all see him enough. You know what Jokic look like. You don't need to see him on Instagram story too.
I do.
Well, first off,
I want to see representation.
First off, I mean, Luka was there, right?
I'm not talking about that.
Oh, okay, my bad. I mean, obviously, I had to post Luka. This is what game. I think that was game 4 for him in the Lakers. Uniform is still new. This is still brand new. And then obviously, I had to get the goated
yes,
LeBron.
You should post LeBron.
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course. So
for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you didn't even post the best European player in the building,
bro. If he would have maybe took more than 7 shots, or they would have won.
I mean, he took the night off. That was crazy.
But I will say, not to go too deep into basketball, after the game, I'm like, damn, he really only took 7 shots.
Yeah.
But it's like, the defensive game plan that JJ Redick deployed, like literally taking him out of the game, like triple teaming him at a lot of different points was kind of crazy to see live.
Yeah, you just wasted it though. You can never use that again.
Yeah,
you can only get Jokic once with something like that.
Yeah, Malone go figure something out. He gonna have something ready to go.
And
next
Jokic,
time.
like he's the ultimate puzzle solver.
Facts.
That's why it's so hard to beat him in a 7-game series. Anyways, I hope you had fun.
I did. It was a good time. Got to be back.
Final results on our poll from Friday. Fellas, do you sleep with a shirt and or a hoodie on? If you sometimes do, sometimes don't, choose which one you do more. 1,617 votes. 71% of people never sleep with a shirt or hoodie on.
Also, with this news,
How many votes did that
have you ever worn the hood on your
1,600.
hoodie indoors with near 500 votes? 81% yes, 19% no.
So we're tied, and that's why I have to bring this up. I actually never felt, I never acted like wearing a hoodie inside was crazy. I just said I don't do it.
That is
For what it's
still
worth.
crazy, though, that you said, like, I've never done that. I've never worn it inside.
I've never put my hood up inside for sure. I have another one for you guys.
Uh-oh.
And I really hope you guys are on the right side of history here. Do you wear socks in your bed?
Absolutely not.
No? He hasn't said anything yet.
No. Not all the time. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll be laying in the bed and I fall asleep with socks on. You feel me? I don't go to, like, if I know, like, I'm finna turn the TV, I'm finna go to sleep, I'll make sure my socks are off. But there are plenty of occasions where I'll wake up with socks on. You feel me? Because I fell asleep with socks on.
Do you feel like you left your feet in an oven?
Bro, I don't really have like a strong take on that. Like, if I wake up with socks on, I'm gonna be like, damn, I gotta get these off. Like,
Wow, that's crazy.
it's not really a deal breaker for me. But typically the socks come off. Yeah.
Dion and Alyssa, you guys both said no, right? All right, well, no poll necessary, I guess.
Wait, King Mars, when did I leave you on red, bro?
I was gonna read that comment earlier. You bogus, bro.
I just looked through. I didn't.
People trying to reach you.
All right.
Probably real important stuff they trying
Sorry,
to reach
man.
you about, bro. And you just
Time wasters are.
Can we finally talk
wasted.
about the quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We know you've been dying to.
I mean, the chat's been dying to hear us talk about it, and you
Good.
guys just starved them of half a segment.
I think they enjoyed the conversation.
I think so too. I had fun.
Blame RK and Scott for not getting as much quarterback discourse today as we initially planned.
We have almost an hour left.
We have other stuff to talk about. Kaidon Salter and Julian Lewis. Who has the most to gain this spring? Obviously, Kaidon coming in with the experience. 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions last year, only 56% completion. But if you dig into the Liberty film, not a great receiving core. He's going to be playing with the best receiving core of his career. Julian Lewis, of course, a freshman phenom, 5-star. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. A lot of unknowns, but he's very, very talented.
So the question in the headline is which player has more to gain? And I think you could really go either way, like with this, and I wouldn't necessarily object. I think my answer would be Julian. And the reason is because he's coming in against a guy with a whole lot of experience.
Yeah.
And I think he has a chance to show that that gap is not as wide as it should be. You know, a 17-year-old versus a senior.
Yeah.
There should be a wide gap there. But Julian is such a unicorn in the sense of his maturity and how advanced he is and has been for a long time that I think if he were to come in spring and, you know, you don't win the job in spring, but if he were to come in spring and just show like, yeah, I can go throw for throw with this guy. I can go decision for decision with this guy who's been in college football for a long time. I think that'll put him in a really good position going into the real battle, which will take place in the fall.
I think I agree with you a lot here, bro. In terms of who has the most to gain from this, you know, these 15 spring practices that every college football program gets, you know, starting with Colorado here in a couple weeks. March 11th, I believe, is the first practice. I think the most to gain, I think that is JuJu, because I think the consensus probably within that locker room and people who have watched college football the last couple of years is that Kaidon Salter is like a legitimate college football quarterback. Like, he has the operation down. Like, he is a true dual threat, a true playmaker who has seen a lot of coverages, a lot of defenses, you know, thrown at his way and whatnot. And obviously, JuJu doesn't have any of that in terms of the experience because he's still, you know, a 17-year-old who should be, you know, getting ready for his senior year of high school. So because of that,
should be picking out a prom suit right now.
You feel me? Like, exactly, bro.
Honestly, though.
And he's getting ready for spring football, one of the, top programs in the college football. So I think for that reason, JuJu has the most to gain because he could walk away after these 15 practices having changed the perception of him as it, pertains to his teammates. Like, his teammates can walk away from those 15 practices like, oh, this guy can do it right now. We all knew that he had all the potential to turn into what we all believe he can be a year or two down the line. But there's a world where out there, again, like these 15 spring practices, guys are like, whether it's Kaidon or JuJu, we going to be good. Yep. And I don't know if that's maybe the consensus right now, again, just because of the disparity in experience. But again, if you go out there and you're Julian Lewis and you show that you can make every throw, you can handle the operation at the line of scrimmage, checking into different plays, identifying coverages and defensive fronts, that's something that could really make Julian Lewis appear to his teammates like somebody who can really take this thing over as a true freshman.
It's clearly Julian who has the most to gain.
Okay. I was kind of hoping we would have different angles on this, but I think I don't think you can argue with it.
Yeah, I mean, Kaidon is proven to a certain point, right? I mean, yeah, he's coming into a new team, and it's going to be very different. He's playing at a different level, too.
Different system.
Absolutely. There's a lot of change that he's going to have to deal with. But Julian is still, with all that we know, he is, at the end of the day, an unknown at the quarterback position when it comes to college football. We'll see how he adjusts this spring to, the speed of the game and all that, and how he's able to gel with these receivers. We'll see how the running game, I mean, the last 2 springs, the running game looks like it's been there, right? Dylan the first year, Dylan last year actually too, and then Micah came in, and then just nothing in the season. So we'll see what happens with that. But Julian's gonna, this is his opportunity, his first real opportunity this spring to show that he can not only lead the team but just get it done on the field. So it's a big spring for him, probably bigger than Kaidon.
I think he can erase the expected experience gap right off the bat.
Yep,
and that will be big because what's so interesting about this battle to me is it's 2 very different quarterbacks stylistically. And so then as long as you, as Julian, as long as you erase that feeling of like, this guy's just more experienced, so we're going to go with him, then it really comes down to a style choice from the coaches. And that part I think is going to be really interesting to me and one that I'm going to be seeking information on when we get the opportunity to talk to these coaches. Because I think that as long as that experience thing doesn't present a hurdle for them, that could end up being what decides this. And I have one last thing, maybe not one last thing, but one thing that I really want to say about this. As a fan base, and I make these pleas all the time, and they're usually just, guys, please. Everyone ignores me, but it makes me feel better that I said it. Can we not make this toxic?
Please. About
picking your guy, digging your boots into the mud, and not moving at all? Yeah. I don't get that. And every quarterback competition I've ever covered is not exclusive to Buff Nation at all. Every quarterback competition I've ever covered ends up being toxic. Everyone picks a side, and if you're not on my side, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And I just hate it so much.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. We are, in the end, all together in this.
Exactly.
We want what's best for the team. Everyone is obviously going to have their opinion on who should be doing what and why, but we don't need to get into like name calling and stone throwing over differing opinions in this. And at the end, whenever we do know who the starting quarterback is, everyone's got to get behind them, right. And not do the thing where this QB1 makes a bad throw and it's immediately give me the other guy.
Holding grudges.
Well, especially in the season when that happens, because someone's going to win the job. Someone's going to have some struggles probably in week 1, for a stretch, whether it's a series, a couple plays, whatever it is. And immediately you're already going to see it, this is why he wasn't my guy. This is why I'm on X's team, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I think that it's just, it's a bad road to go down. So it's going to happen. I know it.
Of course.
But there's something to keep in mind. Like, we are all on the same team here.
Maintain some perspective.
And I would keep in mind, too, a point that I brought up yesterday. Like, this is an enviable position that Colorado is in when it comes to the quarterbacks. Like, 95% of the college football world would kill for Colorado's quarterback situation with the proven guy who's played a lot of college football, a playmaker in Kaidon Salter, and a true blue chip 5-star quarterback waiting in the wings. Like, it would be pretty sad if this, like I said, enviable situation turned into something toxic, which I hope it doesn't. But well said, RK.
For sure. We'll do a few more questions on the quarterback competition on the other side of this break. Shout out to the homies over at Bet365. NBA, NHL are in full swing for the second half of their regular seasons. Or if you just want to get early on some college football or NFL futures, hit up our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, download the app, sign up with the code DNVR365. Deposit $10 and place a bet of $5, and you'll get $100 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Use those bonus bets on anything: spreads, totals, player props, futures, SGPs, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Breck Brew who are doing a sweet, no pun intended, giveaway here. And I guess it wouldn't really be a pun because it's not in a suite.
It's on the glass.
It's on the glass. They are giving away 2 tickets to the Avs game against St. Louis on March 29th on the glass. And that not only includes the best seats in the house, but also includes complimentary food and drink. It's an awesome, awesome deal that you can get in on and try to win at breckbrew.com/ice deck. breckbrew.com/ice deck to enter the Breck Brew Ice Deck giveaway and get yourself 2 VIP tickets on the glass to the Avs game against St. Louis on March 29th. I'm jealous of whoever wins this because I'm sure I'm not eligible, and that hurts. I've sat in some really cool places, some really cool arenas in a lot of sports. I've never sat on the glass at a hockey game.
I've done it at a lower level one.
That's a bucket list. What you've done? What?
Like New Mexico had a hockey team.
Oh.
Like, I don't know. Do they have like feeder teams like they do in soccer and stuff? So I don't know if that's what it was, but yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Want to do it. Got to do it. Hit up our friends over at Breck Brew. Go to breckbrew.com/ice deck.
We kind of hinted at this, but the offense is obviously going to look different without Shedeur. What do you think we see this spring from the offense, and do we see a difference from when Julian is in and when Kaidon is in?
No, for the most part. I think what you're going to have happen is an install, especially in the spring, of plays that would be in either playbook, regardless of the quarterback.
The basics.
In the one place that I think these two guys meet pretty well is RPO.
Yes.
Regardless of which quarterback you choose, you're going to have a lot of RPO in this offense. And what's funny about it is one guy's probably going to take the R option more, and one guy's going to take the P option more. But you're going to install those plays regardless of glance, bubbles, everything. And so I think you're probably going to see a lot of that in the spring.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's why this spring is going to be so fascinating, because I think it will help determine, what this offense really looks like this fall. Because yes, there's going to be some overlap. There are going to be some basics, your go-to plays that both quarterbacks can and will run. But I think it would be a bit of a mistake to have just one playbook and whoever you have under center, they run that. Like, I feel like if Kaidon Salter at the end of the spring or going into the fall, he's the guy. Like, there should be a lot of what Liberty ran in 2023 added to this playbook, introduced into this offense, because you want to build your offense around your players. Like we think about what Robert Livingston said all the time last year. Like you have shooters, like, and you want to get them as many shot attempts as possible, get them in position to do what they do best. And obviously Kaidon and JuJu have a differing kind of skill set. There is some overlap, like you mentioned, RK, but that's why this spring is going to be so fascinating to see if one of them kind of get the upper hand going into the fall, because I think that'll kind of help Pat Shurmur kind of really develop this offense and kind of cater it to who QB1 ends up being. Which
is why I actually think a lot of times QB competitions are more for the public than they are for the coaching staff.
Sure. 100%.
I think once in a while you're going to get a true 50-50. We have no idea who our starter is. I think most of the time you're going to get 60-40 or more on one guy, and the real tell is within the install.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
With spring, it's a little easier because, like I said, you can kind of pick the base of the offense. You're going to run the same run plays for the most part. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a lot of RPO. You're going to have, whatever mesh and rail and all of that stuff that's just going to go into every playbook. That's what you run. And then whoever you kind of have a feeling is going to win this thing, then you spend between spring and fall camp starting to cater the offense to them.
Exactly. And they're obviously two different quarterbacks too. I mean, yes, the RPO game is kind of where, the Venn diagram intersects, but their strengths are very different from each other. I mean, Julian's kind of like Shedeur, right? Precision, timing. He wants it all schemed up. Probably doesn't want to deal with a lot of option routes and, stuff like that Shedeur had to deal with in 23. But Kaidon, like you said, Scott, we got to see some pistol. We got to see some triple option looks. We got to see him moving out of the pocket too.
Yeah.
Take advantage of his legs. So I do think we start to see some of that this spring. But as you said, it'll start to take, it'll branch into one direction once we get into fall camp in August and July.
Like I said, there are just basic concepts that are just going to be in everything. Flood, whatever. Like, I think you're right in the sense that you should run triple option with Kaidon. You can run that with JuJu as well.
Could.
It's just...
It'd be way better with Kaidon, though.
One of the options is just more of a threat.
Yes.
But, depending on what three options you're talking about, you can have a handoff, a quarterback run, and a throw option, which, again, becomes more like 2.5 for JuJu, who's not going to be as much of a runner. It's still good to have in there and still puts pressure on the defense.
For sure.
And that's why I think at this point, Kaidon so obviously has the upper hand because their styles are so different. Like, you don't want to. I feel like you don't want to. You're going to have to make a decision at some point, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And I feel like you don't want. I guess I don't really know where I'm going here, but I feel like Kaidon has the upper hand because this is where I was going. Because they have two different styles, like I feel like if they would have went for a Mikey Keene, who I wanted them to target, who's now in Michigan, who's like a true pocket passer, there's you have a playbook, and whichever one of those guys can grasp it, I feel like is going to get the upper hand. But because they're so different, Kaidon is going to just have so many different options. He's going to give Pat Shurmur as a play caller so many different options. Give this offense so much versatility. It's just going to be fascinating to see how this kind of shakes out.
Who takes the first snap?
Kaidon.
I think Kaidon does as well.
I think that would happen in any... Let's just take this to the pros, right, where people are probably more used to seeing these types of things. Mm-hmm. The veteran is always going to get it over the rookie.
Right.
It's very rare where a rookie, even if they're maybe if they're not number one overall pick, it changes. But even if they're a first-round pick...
Did Bo Nix take first snaps last year?
No, Jarrett Stidham did.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's a perfect example of one of those situations. So it almost always begins with the veteran getting the first look and the rookie, or in this case, the freshman, having to kind of prove themselves.
You got to go win it.
And I almost think sometimes that's a favor being done by the coaching staff to the younger player.
Sure.
Within the locker room. Like, even if... I bet you Sean Payton knew all along that Bo Nix was going to start last year.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
But you don't want the locker room to feel like that was handed to them. And in fact, you want the locker room to think that they earned it, so they're happy for them when it happens, rather than like, oh, here comes the golden boy.
Right.
So it goes both ways.
And I feel like too, like Julian is gonna have to, and he's gonna do this eventually, but he's gonna have to overcome what I might call like the little bro syndrome.
Of course.
Because he's so young, like, and there are so many guys on that program who've been playing college football for 4, 5, maybe 6 years. And you see it even in the video that you had reposted of, him interacting with some of the guys in the weight room. Like, I feel like a lot of those guys see him as that's a little bro. Like, he hasn't played a lot of football, like, especially as opposed to Kaidon, who has played 4 years of college football. Like,
sure.
And he's going to have the opportunity during practice, during meetings, to prove that, he is much older than maybe his age, he suggests. But I feel like that's another hurdle. Like, they see him as kind of the silly, kind of little bro, maybe in some aspects. And obviously he's not, silly or,
right.
He's a lot older, mentally than, again, his age suggests. But that's something that he's going to have to battle through too as well, I feel like. That's just football. That's just how football locker rooms work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Great point. Is that Ian? Yeah, let's hope they actually do install mesh. I don't think they did last year.
Oh, please.
Got to be in the playbook. So much speed at the receiver spot, too. That could be money.
Well, how did we not see Jimmy and LeJontay running opposite drags?
Bro, Travis and anyone.
Yes.
Please.
I want Travis going deep on that. Like, oh, man.
This is just the start of our spring position preview series. We'll be doing this every day over the next 2 weeks up until the March 11th start of spring ball. So get ready. We're going to hit on every position group moving forward. Either way, whatever quarterback wins this competition, they're going to have one of the best offensive tackles, returning offensive tackles in the country, blocking for them, and Jordan Seaton. PFF, our guy Max Chadwick just put out this article, College Football's top 10 returning tackles for the 25 season. Got Jordan Seaton at number 4 in his second year, behind number 3, Kaidon Procter, a guy who we comped him to a lot this time last year.
Yep. Actually, the Jordan thing goes into a point that I forgot that I wanted to make that you were just making, essentially about JuJu having to fight off the like little brother thing or whatever. That can go away quickly once you set foot on the field.
Yes.
And I think it
no
did
doubt.
100% for Jordan Seaton.
Yep.
Now, it's a little bit different for Jordan because he really didn't have a lot of competition for his spot.
Yeah.
But you do come in as the kid of the group.
Yes.
And Jordan got out there and just started being a dog. And all of a sudden you go from, oh, he's little brother to, oh, he's the leader.
Yeah.
The best player in this group.
Real quickly.
And so, you know, I don't know if we've talked enough. And I feel like we've tried to. But I don't know if we've talked enough about the job he did last year.
Jordan?
And just how special it was. And I think it's because everyone was so hopeful about it.
Right.
And then like all of our hopes came true and we're just like, cool, we're good. But realistically, we probably before the season should have been saying like, I think we did actually a little bit. Like there's a chance this could be rocky.
Yeah.
And it just never was.
No, and that's what happens when you have a good offensive lineman. They almost become invisible because you don't notice them blowing blocks, you know, holding, getting penalties, false starts. Like Jordan definitely had his freshman moments, but like reading this in the blurb here from Max about Jordan, he earned a 75.3 pass blocking grade. That was over 13 points higher than any other true freshman tackle last year. In a 7-game stretch from week 3 to week 11, he earned an 85.5 pass blocking grade, with no sacks and only 1 hit allowed on 317 pass blocking snaps. And the kid is 19 years old, and he's doing this.
I was going to say, what was the Buffs record in that stretch, too? Like,
I mean,
7-1, 8-1,
3-11. Yeah, that includes. That doesn't include the Nebraska loss. That includes the K-State one and the Kansas one.
Does it include Kansas? Because there's 14 weeks.
Was that the second to last game? So that was week 13, right?
Yeah, I don't think it did include Kansas.
Either way, I mean, when the Buffs hit their stride, it was partly because of Jordan hitting his stride.
What weeks did you say? 3-11?
3-11, yeah. While Scott's looking that up, 247 did game-by-game predictions for 2025. Any guesses? Did he tell you what the record for the Buffs was?
Yeah, I did hear it.
Who wrote this? Cody Nagel. 247 Sports.
No, what was the record of?
It's just the one loss.
Yep.
So 7-1.
Cody Nagel has the Buffs going 5-7. Game by game, loss to GT, win over Delaware, win over Houston, win over Wyoming, loss to BYU, loss at TCU, beating Iowa State at home, losing at Utah, beating Arizona, losing at West Virginia, losing at home to ASU, and losing at the end of the season at K-State. 5-7, 3-6 in the conference.
I mean, I know that it says in it like this is a way too early prediction, but actually the way that shook out is like shows exactly why it's way too early. Like basically just like went off of what team had a better season last year.
I mean, pretty much his only rationale is that Colorado is losing Travis and Shedeur to the draft.
Yeah.
That's pretty much his only rationale. He doesn't really mention anything else about the roster. So interesting. We're back at that point of the year.
ASU's at home, right?
Yes. He's got K-State and ASU performing the best at 10-2 each.
What's the most ridiculous predicted loss there? Is it TCU or is it Tech?
I don't know, and that's Utah? Actually what I was going to say. Is
it's got to be West Virginia, actually.
It's Utah.
For sure it's West Virginia.
Is it West Virginia?
What was I just about to say? Oh, these games are just going to be toss-ups. Is what makes the Big 12 so good.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's not a lot of ridiculous takes in there. The end result kind of feels like that's too low. But every game kind of exists in a vacuum once the season actually starts.
Right.
And once the game actually starts, and we saw that so many times last year. Sometimes you think you're going to win easy and it ends up being a dogfight. Sometimes you're supposed to get blown out and you blow them out like UCF. So there's going to be a lot of close games. It's going to come down to the margins at the end. And truly the margins can be the difference between 5-7 and 8-4.
Sure.
100%. And honestly, this is good. This is good for the program because Coach Prime and that coaching staff is going to have that underdog, nobody believes in us narrative to kind of fire up his team, at least going into the season. Because I would assume, when the official Big 12, kind of media predictions, this summer come out,
they'll be double digits.
They'll be probably similar to what this is right here, 5-7, 6-6 range. I would assume.
Let's take our next break. You want to tell people about your Toyota?
Love my Toyota. Love all Toyotas. Hopped in a Lyft on sometime this weekend to go out to dinner, and it was a 4Runner.
Sheesh.
So great. And once we got in, I was like, oh man, like we were thinking of getting one of these. Like, what do you think of it? It was only like an 8-minute Uber ride or Lyft ride. Bro just talked about how much he loved his 4Runner from start to finish. He's like, yeah, it's funny. I feel like I've become like a Toyota ambassador because a lot of people ask me questions about the car when they get in here, and I just can't say enough good things. And I was like, I actually am a Toyota ambassador. So, I told him about my RAV4. He was like, oh, I used to have a RAV4. Great car. Cool. So there's a lot of, real Toyota heads out there. And it's for a reason. It's because they're the best in the business. So if you're looking for a new car, I highly, highly recommend you consider getting a Toyota. And if you're around here, you got to check out one of the Toyota stores, Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR and that Lyft driver.
And shout out to our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Man, we've gotten hit hard, Denver, recently. Snow. It was a stormy kind of fall, too.
Yep, freezing temperatures recently.
Yep, a lot of hail and all that stuff. So make sure you hit up our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. If you need a new roof for your home or business, these guys are awesome. They're local. They've been fans of DNVR, so we are fans of them. And they do great work. Just like we try to emphasize, relationships matter. They believe in the same. With their customers, they do their work with quality materials, have decades of experience, and you can hit them up for a free no obligation roof and property inspection and a free in-depth photo report for all inspections. You can't always see how bad the damage to your roof is from the ground, so hit up our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Supporting your local teams means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com. or call 720-771-8921 and tell them DNVR sent you.
Wouldn't it be dope on like Uber or Lyft if you could like pick, I only want to be in a Toyota. Like I only want a Toyota to pick me up. That'd be low-key fire.
I only trust the safety features of a Toyota.
That'd be sick.
They've gotten better about like, do you prefer a quiet ride or talking?
Right.
So let's just make it more specialized. If you're willing to wait,
Yeah, right. It might add some time to your driving time, but it's all right.
Some more stuff. Looking forward to 2025. Bill Connolly, we've talked about his S&P Plus index before. This is returning production, though. And Colorado always ranks low in these because
Connolly already dropped his first one this year?
Yeah,
okay,
today.
Bet. Oh, go crazy. I enjoy reading those.
No, this is good stuff. Yeah. But as the last 2 years have shown with CU, this doesn't really apply because of how heavily they use the transfer portal. I mean, even quarterback production, that's just a net zero for Colorado right now because Kaidon Salter's coming in, obviously, and JuJu's a freshman. So there's nothing to go off of there. Colorado's ranked 89th in this. They are 50% in returning production, 44% on offense is 99th in the country, but 55% on defense at 66th in the country. Can
you say those two again? What percent on offense? What percent on defense?
44% on offense as 99th in the country, and 55% returning production on defense that is 66th in the country. Obviously, big, impactful transfers on both sides, and losing Travis is probably a huge part of both of those, obviously. But yeah, 89th in the country, the highest-ranked Big 12 team is actually a team that we think might regress because they're losing the best player. That's Arizona State. They're second in the country at 79% returning production.
Wow. On both ends.
Texas Tech is fourth, too, 75% returning production. Baylor is at 11th, 68% returning production. Arizona, 66.
We haven't talked much about them, but Baylor, low-key, might be dangerous this year. I think it's because they're not on the schedule that we haven't talked about them, but Sawyer Robertson ended up just being the truth. And he's only going to keep getting better, and now they can kind of build around him.
100%, man.
Like I said, I really enjoy reading those from Bill Connolly, and I think he does it like right around this time of the year, and then I think after spring ball, and maybe before.
He'll do it a few times during the offseason.
And again, so I take some stock into it, but I always take it with a grain of salt because I'll never forget Oklahoma State being maybe having number 1 on that list, or definitely being top 5. Going into last season, returning pretty much all their production from the year before when they went to the Big 12 championship game, lost to Texas, and obviously they were the worst team in the Big 12 this year with all that returning production. So I take it with a grain of salt, but it is interesting. Sounds like Colorado pretty much returns right around half of their production offensively and defensively. So it's a good base. It's a good starting point for sure because we know there's a lot of talent brought in from the transfer portal. There will be high school guys contribute right away. So it's a good starting point.
You know who, this is just random, but it was making me think about like guys who are returning who didn't necessarily create a lot of production, but flashed in their moments. Obviously, Colton Hood, I think, would be the top of that, and Omarion Miller would be the top of that on offense.
Facts.
But there's just like, I just randomly remember the other day, like Torian Carter.
Yeah, he's back in the fold.
Like that's just a grown-ass man in the middle of your defensive line who's back in the fold, who I think is going to be a big help to that defensive line in terms of just being a massive guy in the middle there.
I mean, and Quinn Barnes, he didn't have much production last year at all, but he flashed too.
Yeah. So it's certainly more comforting this year than it was in years past, where we just like basically coin flip on everyone. We don't know really what they're going to do, where at least now there's a lot more guys I think that are still in the program that we've seen actually perform on Saturdays. Now they're just getting a larger role.
I mean, 6 of Colorado's top 10 tacklers on defense last year are going to the NFL. So,
were you guys not in on Baylor? That's what Wayne said.
He wasn't.
For what it's worth, I don't want to be in on Baylor. I hate Baylor, and I was very satisfied that we beat them in basketball.
I'm pretty sure I had them, or we had them, B tier.
I think we did. I think I had to get you to bump them up, though.
Maybe. I don't know. We have to check the tape on that. But yeah, I feel like they're going to be middle of the pack, like in that 6 to 8 range.
There's a lot of teams in the middle that, again, it's just going to come down to the margins.
And how they match up against
kept their coach, right?
Guys. Yes. Yeah, Aranda's
Smart.
Back, who I like.
Smart.
He's a defensive guy, too.
Exactly. Like their defense is going to be good. A bitch to play against. Yep. And now they have a quarterback. It feels like they always do a decent job of having some speed out there on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're just like Texas Tech, like they're never gonna win the conference, probably not, but they're gonna give teams trouble on a week in, week out basis.
Again.
Yep.
I think that's what they went this year, right?
I think so.
8-4.
Bill Connolly has 2 Big 12 teams in the most likely to improve in 2025. We've already talked about both of them, Baylor and ASU. Most likely to improve?
ASU?
Yes.
Bro,
I'm intrigued by that.
How is that possible?
Here's the blurb. Like Illinois, Arizona State was perhaps a bit fortunate going 6-1 in 1-score finishes in the regular season. The Sun Devils were legitimately awesome late in the season, but only finished 35th in S&P Plus because of struggles against teams like Texas State and Cincinnati. But outside of Cam Scattaboo, this was an awfully young team, one that has a chance to get to offset a potential reversal in close game fortune by being good enough to avoid close games altogether. Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson, and 4 offensive line starters return, as do a whopping 14 of 17 defenders with 200-plus snaps.
Here's the thing, dude. You can't just have outside of Cam Scattaboo be a couple words in the whole blurb.
Returning 4 of their 5 starting offensive line is interesting.
That is big.
No, for sure. They're going to be good.
Yeah, we all know that.
I don't think they're a most likely to improve candidate by any stretch of the
They'll
way.
be good. I'd be shocked if they were better in 2025 than they were in 2024. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
I think they can be a better team, but win fewer games. Like he mentioned, they were really lucky in close score games, but I mean, and that's what the Big 12 is winning close score, one score games, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I just think there's going to be such a wake-up call for not having a player like Scadaboo who just creates for you. I mean, I talk about this with a lot of players, but Scadaboo is a slot machine and an easy slot machine. You pull that lever enough times, you're going to hit a jackpot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such a fallback plan for any team to just be like, oh, what do we call here? Just give it to Scadaboo.
Sure.
And they're not going to have that. And
4 yards minimum. You
Yes.
call his number.
Well, they're going to have F it. Jordan Tyson's down there somewhere.
Yeah, and that's a lot easier when those safeties are creeping up to stop
That's true.
Scadaboo.
That is true. Most likely to regress in 2025. He actually does not have Colorado. He's got Ohio State, Ole Miss, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Miami, SMU, and South Carolina. Those are a lot of good football teams.
I love that list.
A lot of good football teams in there.
Wow.
But his is all based off of numbers, right? Like
Yes,
that's not his
yes.
opinion.
No, yeah, it's all analytics with him.
Yeah. That's
All right.
interesting.
To the NFL, Shedeur Sanders will not throw at the NFL Combine that starts on Thursday this week. I think we all kind of saw this coming, but he made it official, and of course, a lot of people online took advantage of this news and went in on Shedeur.
As if it's something new.
of course.
I'll say this. It's okay to say you wanted Shedeur to throw. As someone coming from that camp, at least I was honest about it, though. I was like, I just want it because I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Right.
It might be fun. He's going to ball out. It'll be good for content. Like all of those things. To act like he somehow needs this, which Scotty and I both repeatedly said over and over when we said we wanted him to throw, is that he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. To act like he needs to is you're just reaching. You're reaching because there are dozens of guys who have come before him who didn't, and it never really changes anything. And as I think one of the reports, it might have been Rappaport's report, like he said, he'll fall back on his 4 years of tape.
Which
If you want to
was
see him
my
throw,
point.
you have an unlimited amount of opportunities to do so. Watching him in, compression shorts, throwing to random guys with no pass rush. If that's what you were going to be the tiebreaker of your evaluation on him,
Right.
you should be fired.
You were lost from the get-go.
Yeah.
For sure, man. We agree. I selfishly I just wanted to see Shedeur throw there. We all
Yes.
we know that he don't need to throw there. Like he doesn't need to do that. And again, people making a big deal out of this, you're just telling on yourself, because obviously Caleb Williams didn't throw last year. Jaden Daniels didn't throw last year. They went on to have pretty good rookie seasons. That extends even further. Matt Stafford, Andrew Luck, Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold, RG3,
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, a.k.a. the white Shedeur Sanders, did not throw at the NFL Combine, and most, if not all of those guys turned out just fine in the NFL. And again, like how you mentioned in that Rappaport piece, like he's thrown 907 passes over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
There's plenty to dissect in terms of that film over the last 2 years at Colorado. So Shedeur is going to be just fine. And here's the coolest part of it. Brett Coleman tweeted this today, which I don't know how I feel about him, but
He was a hater.
I saw a negative tweet from him earlier today, too.
the last part is just interesting. He goes, it's not the biggest deal in the world that Shedeur isn't throwing, but it is kind of annoying for GMs that he's had 2 chances to throw in front of evaluators at this point, and now everyone has to go out to Colorado just to see it. You're damn right, Brett. Y'all got to come out to Colorado to see the best quarterback in the draft and 4 draftable wide receivers. Yes. Slide to Colorado.
Bro, acting like coming to Colorado is some sort of punishment.
Right, it's crazy.
insane.
It might be for people like him because they have to go into the building that they've kind of mocked for so long.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was going to reference that same thing. I was like, I didn't remember who had it. I was going to be like, someone tweeted that this is such an inconvenience for the evaluator. I'm like, bro, do your job.
Yes.
Do your job.
Also,
Literally, bro.
Ashton Genty and Cam Ward, I think, they're not doing workouts.
Yep.
They're doing interviews only as well. So
Yeah, and I saw someone be like, Ashton Genty's a consensus top 5 pick. He doesn't have anything to prove. Shedeur, on the other hand, I'm like, it's
crazy.
What are we doing here, man? It's
crazy.
What are we doing?
It's wild, man.
Again, it would have been fun for him to throw. And my biggest reason for thinking that would be fun is just because I thought he would dominate.
Yes.
He doesn't need any of this. No. And yeah, come to Pro Day and come see the campus and all of these teammates I have that we want eyes on and all that. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, see what it's really like. This is from, I don't know if this is the ESPN Giants guy or not, but Jordan Raanan at, is that what he does? Yep. He's at ESPN. He wrote this article, Giants quarterback decision will be on front burner at NFL Combine. And this one paragraph stood out to me. Just talking about, the Giants' plans at quarterback, mentions Cam Ward, mentions Shedeur, mentions free agency. He says, multiple league insiders are convinced that the Giants have their sights on Sanders, but that would not necessarily keep the team from targeting a more experienced option at the position. And then he mentions what they did drafting Eli Manning or trading for Eli Manning and then signing Kurt Warner in the same offseason.
Oh, trading for him in the draft.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Me either.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that.
I vaguely remember.
No,
Kurt Eli started from week 1, though?
No, Eli did not start from week 1.
Interesting.
I don't remember that at all.
No, Kurt Warner he looked bad. And then he went to the Cardinals a few years after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's why I just forget that Giants era.
He still had good years left?
Yeah.
He
went to
bro.
the Super Bowl with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I thought that would have been before that.
Same.
No,
that's why
bro.
that's
I think this is because the Rams had him, obviously. He got hurt, and Mark Bolger came in and was playing really well. And so they kicked Kurt Warner out. And, so this was...
Mark Bolger was nice.
Kurt Warner was the first ever experience I can remember where I was so sick of the announcers telling the same story every game.
He used to bag groceries.
Every single time he played, you had to hear about how he used to bag groceries. It was we all watch football. We knew this from last week and the week before and the week before.
Kurt Warner actually only played 1 year in New York. It was that year in 2004.
Yeah, that's why I don't remember
and
that.
And then he must have got traded to Arizona and then just had a great last 3 years of his career.
There was actually a Buffs version of the overused note, and it was when my roommate from college, Dara O'Neill, was the punter. Every game you had to hear about how he could punt with his right foot and his left foot.
Which one is he going to do here?
He grew up playing Gaelic football in Ireland. He had to punt with both feet.
Did you know Jimmy Graham played basketball?
I'm dead.
All right.
Hey, no, just one more thing on that,
go
too,
for
though.
it.
Albert Breer reported that 4 teams have shown interest in trading for Matthew Stafford. 3 of those 4 teams are potentially interested in Shedeur Sanders. The Giants, the Browns, and the Raiders are all reportedly shown interest in trading for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
And this is
makes
the week
sense.
when that stuff happens. I mean, any day now we'll get some big trade news or whatever.
Yeah.
It can't be official until the start of the new league year, but the Russ thing got done at the Combine.
Yep.
Sorry for the scars. A lot of this stuff happens at the Combine because all of these guys are in the same place. They go out for a drink. They talk it over.
So I have a question. So based on what Raanan wrote there, is that the Giants could trade for Matthew Stafford
and still select a quarterback. Basically what the Falcons did last offseason.
Because it worked out so well for them.
Look, man.
But
Just saying.
is that saying still draft a quarterback or still draft a quarterback at 3 overall? Because would you have to trade that 3rd overall pick to get a Matthew Stafford?
No, I don't think you have to trade the 3rd overall pick to get Matthew Stafford.
So
How old is Matthew Stafford?
35.
Pretty old right now.
I think
So one of these teams, the Giants, the Browns, or even the Raiders.
37, bro.
Yeah.
One of those teams, the Giants, the Browns, or the Raiders, trading potentially for Matthew Stafford would not rule out the possibility of them also drafting Shedeur Sanders.
If he's 37, absolutely not. I think Sam Darnold is the one where it's okay, this
Wherever
team clearly
he
sees him
goes.
as a bridge quarterback for the next year or two.
To me, Shedeur is not your guy to draft if you're planning on
100%.
playing someone else for a while. Shedeur's ready right now.
Yes.
If there was a game on Sunday, I would put him out there. If you're going to run out 2 years of Matthew Stafford, maybe Jalen Milroe is the guy that you want. Or more of a product.
A dart
project.
like that.
Big leads match going on right now. Yeah.
0-0.
A little Yorkshire Derby.
Love that.
You know what that means?
Hell no.
It's like English soccer's version of a in-state rivalry.
Say the word again.
Yorkshire Derby.
Okay.
Derby.
Derby.
Last 2 things for the NFL draft today.
Derby. think it's actually Derby, but pronounced Dobby.
It's actually 2 top 50s from 2 big draft analysts. We'll start with Daniel Jeremiah here. He put out his top 50 2.0. Travis Hunter didn't move at all. He's still number 2 behind Abdul Carter.
Crazy.
Who is this? DJ?
DJ, his top 50 prospects. Ashton Genty, number 3.
That's shocking to me, bro. I'm not going to lie.
What, Genty?
He's saying Genty's the 3rd best player in this draft.
A lot of people see him like that. I mean, we'll get to this one.
My question on this is always the same. Do you think Genty is Saquon?
No.
And I love when you do that because the answer is easily no for me.
I agree. And that to me was the last running back where I was like, yep, he belongs right there.
I would say the same thing. I would say, is he Bijan Robinson? No.
I think he
is
could
he Jahmyr
be.
Gibbs? I don't think so.
He's definitely not Jahmyr Gibbs, but I
totally
think
different player, obviously.
Sure.
But
he's more Bijan than
if he could be Bijan, I think if you where did Bijan go? Like 7?
8, I think.
Yeah, it was top 10.
Yeah.
Back into top 10.
The
Which is
question
where
is
I
it-
think Genty goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say the question is if you redrafted, would Bijan go higher or lower?
He'd go lower, I think.
I think so too, probably.
So
But-
that means you have to ask, is he better than Bijan?
And he's not.
But this is, again, context. This is just the top 50 prospects. Of course, it's not like what he's predicting.
Right.
Like, this
get
is just,
that.
pound for pound,
But
who's the
that's-
best prospect. He's not taking into account team needs and stuff. Go ahead.
But that's what's crazy to me, though. Pound for pound, just looking at pure football player, he thinks he's the 3rd best player in this draft. He's
a pretty safe pick.
He already lost me by not having Travis Hunter number 1, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, he might lose you a bit more here because Shedeur Sanders has dropped 4 spots. He was 11th. He's now 15th. He was right behind Cam Ward in terms of their ranking. Cam still at 10, but Shedeur down to 15.
this is Daniel Jeremiah's.
That's
of
Daniel
NFL.
Jeremiah.
Probably,
Y'all.
it's got to be because of that game that Shedeur played last week that he didn't. Oh wait, no, nothing's changed. How does it change?
The
Watch
dude
more
just grinds
film.
tape, bro.
They dive into more of the film.
Matt Miller's got it even worse. He still has Travis Hunter number 2. He's got Ashton Genty at
Who's he
6.
have? Does he have Abdul 1 too?
He has Abdul number 1
Is
as
that
well.
the consensus, bro?
I think so. I think you should expect to see Abdul Carter pick first overall right now.
Stop.
I think right now that's what it looks
That's
like.
what I'm saying. Like, that appears to be the consensus. Like, that's what I keep hearing.
He's got Cam Ward at 13.
If
and
you draft
then
an on-quarterback at number 1 and it's not Travis Hunter, you just fired yourself.
he has Shedeur Sanders at 22, 22nd best prospect.
Who's this?
Matt Miller.
I'm telling you, bro. If you don't draft, if you're not drafting a quarterback at number 1 and you don't draft Travis Hunter, you're fired.
I mean, I agree, but
Where did
there's
Micah Parsons go? 10th?
something like that, yeah.
There's no way people think that Abdul Carter's better than him.
No, but I think it's a lot of what they see with Genty. I think they just see like a safe prospect.
I think he's really young too, isn't he, Abdul? Isn't he
think
like
he
20
is,
or
yeah.
21, which obviously helps.
This is crazy, man. I watch a lot of college football. I've seen when I turn on Saturday and I'm like, nobody can block this guy. Absolute game record. Nobody has a chance. He's not that.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's not Jadeveon Clowney,
I wouldn't
Ndamukong
even-
Suh.
I
Yeah.
like Jared Verse's tape better.
Oh, come
Jared
on.
Verse was cold.
Jared Verse was sick, but Abdul Carter, look,
But Jared Verse was old. You know,
Right,
I think
right.
he was a
Yes.
4-year
That's what I'm
player.
saying. Like, I see it like
Maybe 5.
Abdul Carter to me is a top 4 prospect in this draft to me.
easily.
He's not number 1 though.
I mean, I'd agree, but
I think him being top 4 is more a reflection of the class than it is of him.
that too. There's a lot of people who don't think that this class is full of blue chip players.
Right.
They
There's
think it's
one
meat and potatoes.
guaranteed, absolute, no doubt blue chip
I
player.
agree. I 100% agree. I think there's
That's
two.
not a quarterback. I think I would put Shedeur in there.
Yeah.
I will never guess who I just got a reply from on Twitter.
Is it, bro?
First round
Oh,
mock.
the worst.
No, this
bro.
idiot-
block him.
No, he tried to. Oh man, you would be so proud of me. I saw
Bro.
he replied to my tweet about the Shedeur not throwing thing, and I restrained. I didn't say anything.
I want to reply and be like, bro, get off my page. Like, get off my post, bro.
I used to tell Jake that I've been very conservative with my block button, bro. I am throwing out blocks like prime Dikembe right now.
Wow, how the tables turn.
Like, I just don't have time for it anymore.
Oh, now it makes sense.
It does.
I was soft before, but now.
I don't think I ever said that. You're going to have to pull up some
That
tapes.
was the insinuation,
I do remember this argument.
That was the insinuation.
I don't know how soft was used, but I remember this argument. For sure.
I used to just use the mute. Right. But I don't have the self-control to not click this replies from an account you muted.
Yeah.
So I just started blocking people, man. I'm that dude's blocked. I'm out on everyone. The one that I got you for is you just block accounts, like, not for responding to you. Like, you're just like, I don't like this account. Blocked.
Yeah, I block all the ads I don't like too.
He blocked like all of the like NFL aggregators.
Yeah.
That's a good. I got all of them. Like golf, climbing, and NFL Rookie Watch. I got all of them.
ML football. ML football blocked me back too.
Mutual block. Yeah, I'm over it. I can't have the negativity in my life.
But it was in reply to a tweet that I had today where I did this before this season, before Kansas State came to town, which was the first top 25 team Colorado played this year in 2024. And I updated, obviously, over the last 2 seasons at Colorado, Shedeur and the Buffs have played 8 games against top 25 teams. 8 games against top 25 teams. In those games, Shedeur is completing 69% of his passes. He's throwing 295 passing yards per game. He's got 21 total touchdowns in those 8 games to just 4 interceptions. Like, this is somebody who, for some reason, has a narrative around him that he doesn't or can't really play against good teams or in big games, when if you just simply look at the numbers and or the film, it's easy to tell that that's not the case. And that's just another reason why I'm positive. I'm very sure of the fact that this man, Shedeur Sanders, is going to be a dog in the NFL and change somebody's franchise for the better.
Let's go to the Toyota chat. Wrap today up. King Mars, okay, a lot of you did ask about the pro day. The reason why I responded to no one is because I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to say I don't know. So that's why I didn't respond to anyone.
Yeah.
Soon, though. I'd imagine it's around the same time. Because I was looking at this yesterday because I want to know when it is too. But
every year it is overlapped with the Pac-12 tournament.
It's always mid-March.
Yep.
Damn near, I mean, the last 3 years I've been here, it's been mid-March. So I'd expect the same this year.
Because I don't think I've ever been to a Colorado Pro Day.
Really?
Yeah, because I've always been
at the tournament. Yeah. Well, last year we got lucky because it was during the tournament and then it snowed like crazy and we were gone in Vegas. So they moved the pro day from that day.
Yep.
Till we got back. Kamada asks, will having a quarterback coach benefit Julian or for CU or for Coach Prime? They do have a quarterback coach.
And DC?
And DC, yes. Yes. Leilani, I think.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. No comment on Ponder or Staub. Where do they rate in the race? Respectfully.
Battling for QB3.
Yes. Yep. Kamada again. We'll see you not having a quarterback coach reflect on the lack of importance to Coach Prime. They have got, again, we got Pat Shurmur and we got DC. Rudy asked, hey guys, do we even want to see a spring game this year or opt out like some of the other schools? Give me a spring game, man. I'll take any football.
Yeah, I want to play a spring game just so I can call those other schools soft.
I just need football back.
Yep, exactly.
But also it's a revenue generating event.
And again, last year, maybe who cares? But this year, again, with the quarterback battle entrenched in the middle of it too, need that spring game.
Where's Tyler Brown?
Tyler Brown is here.
In the great state of Colorado.
Yes, he is. Hit the like button.
LeBron is not the GOAT. How can an NBA player be the GOAT that shoots a woeful 19% when the game is on the line? Come on, James. We got to be better.
Hit the like button.
We got to be better, James.
Hit the like button. I know we're gearing up for spring football, but hey. Just get it. Let's get the show rolling a bit more like we used to during the main season.
Dion, who your NBA go, Dion?
Yeah, it's obviously Jokic.
Real one.
You guys you'll be late to the party.
Yes, I will take anything but UFL, King Mars. I'm sorry, man. I can't get into, lower league football like that.
Dude, if guys like you and me can't get into it, they have no chance.
Y'all don't rock with the XFL?
No. Do you?
How you gonna answer a question with a question, bro? I asked you a question.
Because I already said I don't watch them.
Nah, I can't get it. I can't get jiggy with that.
Somehow I'm like I said, I watched every shot of the Mexico Open yesterday. Like, I'll watch a low-tier golf tournament over second-tier football.
Yeah, been watching a lot of Avs.
Yep.
F1's back this week, testing.
There you go. Go on, Lewis.
Sure.
Ali X, if you're a Leeds fan.
I am. Big Leeds guy.
Oh, who is the running back coach who left? Yes, Tommy Robinson did leave to take a job elsewhere. He was working for special team as the special teams coach last year, though. So wish him well.
He's now at UTSA.
Oh my god.
Something like that. I can't remember.
That's it. UTSA.
Is it?
Yeah.
We just conceded, boys.
Really?
Down 1-0.
Damn. Richie, that's what I said. These guys shot it down. Playing the Lilboro CSU for a spring game.
Nah, bro, never. Get that out of here.
We're not giving them any more free clout.
Seriously.
Literally, the only thing that anyone knows about Colorado State is that their quarterback ran his mouth before the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow with another spring position preview. It's going to be fun. See y'all then. Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.